This is my daughter, Tanner. This is all I got to remember by.
Whew, I have been waiting to tell y'all about this one. Before we get into it though, I do want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope y'all have had a wonderful week. I hope everybody is doing good. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys about this story, about this plastic surgeon and his wife, and this happened just last year in 2023 up in the northwest part of Florida. And I have gotten so many requests about this. I have been following this. I have seen all kinds of stuff, but I did not feel like I could really make a video until something big happened. Well, it happened. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, HelloFresh. Ditch the meal planning woes and dive into HelloFresh's biggest menu yet with over 45 different recipes and even more market items to choose from every single week. You can cut down on the time spent trying to figure out what you're going to make for dinner, go into the grocery store, or all the time that you spend in the kitchen, and you can get back to enjoying the summer sunshine thanks to HelloFresh's quick and easy recipes. And if you're looking for lighter options, wake up your taste buds and help your body feel good and balanced with the fit and wholesome recipes chock full of fresh produce and all under 650 calories per serving. And when you sign up today, you will unlock free appetizers for life. And when I tell y'all, these appetizers are so delicious. Most recently, I had the baked pretzels. When you bite into them, they're crispy on the outside, warm on the inside. I put the salt on top of mine. Oh my gosh. But then the Thai egg rolls. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh. You hear that? So good. If you want to try HelloFresh, all you got to do is go to HelloFresh.com and use code Christina Randall Apps for free appetizers for life. Yes, one free appetizer per box while your subscription is active. That's code Christina Randall Apps at HelloFresh.com for free appetizers for life. Thanks again, HelloFresh. Okay, let me tell y'all about this plastic surgeon, Dr. Benjamin Brown. Before I get into it, though, I did want to say, and make sure y'all stay to the end, because at the end, I'm going to tell y'all where y'all can find some information that I cannot put in this video, and I'm obviously going to give you guys my opinion like I typically do at the end. But has anybody else ever wondered out there what it would be like having certain doctors in your family, being married to a certain type of doctor or whatever? Like, I know I have personally thought, like, what if we had a plastic surgeon in the family? Oh my gosh, in 10 years, I could get me a little pull back, a little nip tuck and, tip this off. And you know what I mean? You think about those types of things. Well, this is a situation where there's a doctor, plastic surgeon, and his wife. And it seems like just that was happening. And real quick, go do your own research, form your own opinions. I am not a professional. I pull all of my information from very, very public sources that are already out there. So yeah, 41-year-old Dr. Benjamin Brown lives in Pensacola, Florida, and he is the father of 2 sons. Now, Dr. Brown graduated from Georgetown University's Department of Plastic Surgery back in 2015. Dr. Brown's LinkedIn profile says that he moved to Pensacola in 2015 and began working as a plastic surgeon at Gulf Coast Plastic Surgery. Then he branched off from them and he ended up opening his own practice. He named it Restore Plastic Surgery, and he did this in Gulf Breeze in 2017. Now, Dr. Brown was very well known in his community, and he was looked highly upon initially as an awarded plastic surgeon. He held medical licenses in Florida, Virginia, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C., and was certified by the American Board of Plastic Surgery. But that really good reputation that Dr. Ben Brown had built up surely would not last forever. Ben, and I'm just going to call him Ben from here on out, started dating a woman named Hillary back in 2021. The two of them ended up going on to get married in June of 2022, and she actually had 3 children from a previous relationship. 33-year-old Hillary Brown now, at this point, because she's done married Dr. Ben Brown, was born in Mobile, Alabama on September 2nd in 1990. After graduating high school, Hillary went on to pursue her Bachelor's of Science in Chemical Engineering at the University of Mississippi. She worked at Dr. Brown's office, Restore Plastic Surgery, but she did not have any medical license or any official training. She was just working there with her husband. So keep that in mind. Now, like I said, Hillary had 3 children from a previous marriage. She had 3 daughters, actually, and they were ranging from the age of 4 to 8. So between the 2 of them, from both of their previous marriages, they ended up having 5 little ones. Hillary's parents describe her as being full of fire and full of energy. Her friends say that she was a loving and a devoted mother and just a lot of fun to be around. However, it is said that Ben, Dr. Ben Brown, and Hillary had quite the rocky relationship, and that their relationship went from hot to cold, from ups and downs, just constantly. But friends and families also said that for the most part, Hillary really enjoyed her life with Ben, and especially because Ben, Dr. Ben Brown, was regularly performing plastic surgery procedures on Hillary. Now, I want y'all to look at this photo right here before Hillary's face really started to change. And before we even get into this, you guys, to each his own. Whatever you want to do with your body, as long as you're not hurting anybody else, please do it. That's not what we're talking about here. But however, this was Hillary before she started having these procedures. Hillary's father said that he tried to tell his daughter that she didn't need all those procedures and that she was absolutely gorgeous. But it seems that maybe Hillary did not believe that about herself because she kept getting these procedures done. And before you know it, her face was definitely taking a different form, and quite quickly. I mean, they had just, only been married for a couple years. Leading up to the end of last year, 2023, Hillary's father said that there were signs that Hillary was very unhappy in her marriage, but that she was hesitant to leave and she wanted to try to make things work with her husband. What Hillary did not know was that the very thing that she loved about her husband, one of the things we know that she loved about him, would unfortunately be the thing that would get her killed in the end. On November 21st of 2023, Hillary went into her husband's private plastic surgery office to undergo several procedures. During the procedures, it was said that Hillary suddenly went into cardiac arrest and had to be rushed to the hospital. So she goes in to her husband's, business, plastic surgery business. She's going to have a couple procedures done. She goes into cardiac arrest and she's being rushed to the hospital. In the call notes of the 911 phone call, it said, "Doctor possibly over-medicated patient."
Call reported a 32-year-old female was undergoing a procedure for a lipo fat transfer from cardiac arrest after.
At the hospital, Hillary was put on life support. She stayed on life support for about a week, and then she did pass away on November 28th of 2023. Just days after Hillary went into a coma on November 24th, Ben Brown posted on social media asking for prayers for his wife. His post said, "We need prayers for a miracle. Hillary had a cardiac arrest on Tuesday afternoon. We called 911 and started CPR. Her heart came back, but her brain is not doing well. She has been in a coma since she went unconscious on Tuesday. Hillary Ellington Brown, you are my soulmate, my world, my everything. Please come back. Please." In a statement released by the sheriff's office in December, Hillary's cause and manner of death was still pending at this time. They said the autopsy protocol typically takes several months as it is usually dependent on extensive laboratory and toxicology tests, as well as the information gathered by our major crimes detectives concerning the circumstances of the death. Now, this is all that really came out initially, and not much information was known or at least shared. However, law enforcement immediately began an extensive investigation in conjunction with the medical examiner's office and the state attorney's office to determine what exactly happened to Hillary. And mind you, during this time, the internet did not let up. I mean, I got friends that I ain't talked to in a long time Facebook messaging me this. Oh my gosh, did you hear about this? I mean, I've seen photos of all kinds of stuff, people that sent in of their experiences, and we'll get more into that later in this video. But at this point, all everybody knew officially was that she passed. It was suspicious, under investigation, and everybody is now looking at this plastic surgeon. But as this investigation went on, some of the plastic surgeon's former patients and former employees, they all started coming forward with complaints that they had about Dr. Ben Brown. Now, these former patients of Dr. Brown that spoke with the media said that Dr. Brown gave them all kinds of infections and wounds that wouldn't heal. Permanent, lifelong injuries. And you guys, they were sending in photos to some of these platforms and these groups, and it is unreal. When you talk about infections, and something wasn't right at this place. Something right was not happening, allegedly, okay? One patient even said that when she went in for her consultation, Dr. Brown asked her if she wanted a BBL, to which she told the doctor, no, thank you, I don't want no BBL. However, allegedly, Dr. Brown gave her a BBL anyways. Can you imagine? Another patient said that she received laser therapy on her face from Hillary, his wife, who was not licensed or trained to be giving this procedure or any kinds of procedures. Both of those patients say they still are dealing with the side effects from these botched procedures. Former employees also said that Dr. Brown repeatedly violated multiple medical regulations, like performing or allowing others to perform certain surgical procedures in his office without the proper training or equipment. As an example, that'd be like me going and putting in an application at a plastic surgery place or something, and they saying, Christina, what kind of experience you got? And I would say, I've been a YouTuber, I can edit videos, and they say, okay, here, start giving Botox and lip injections and performing laser treatments on people's faces. And me being like, okay, sure, I can do that. And then people going in and paying and having these procedures done where things are being either injected into them, medication being put into them, and then them not knowing that they're paying for a service from a person that is not even trained. These people also claim that Dr. Brown didn't follow any kind of proper cleaning and sterilization protocol, and that he did not properly follow up with his patients post-op or with their wound care. According to these patients and employees, they made these complaints to the Florida Department of Health in the past, but allegedly no action was ever taken. One man specifically said that he had been in contact with the Florida Department of Health since just after his wife passed away, allegedly by the hand of this Dr. Ben Brown. According to him, he says that he was told that there was nothing that could be done. However, now that Hillary's case has come to light and brought all of this up and more allegations have come out, people are talking. Also, it has come out that allegedly there's been a bunch of local personal injury attorneys that have revealed that there are legal loopholes that may have allowed Dr. Ben Brown to get away with what he's gotten away with for so long. These attorneys have said that Dr. Brown's former patients who wanted to pursue medical malpractice cases against Dr. Brown were turned away because Dr. Brown had minimal insurance coverage limits, and he also had his patients sign like all of these agreements. This meant that patients essentially gave away their rights to a jury trial when they signed that agreement. So you got to be careful what you're signing. Really be careful. Then in May of just this year, 2024, an order of emergency restriction of Dr. Brown's medical license was filed by the Florida Department of Health, and this has revealed more of the circumstances around Hillary's death. It said Hillary went in for miniature muscle plication, a scar revision, bilateral arm liposuction, lip injections, and ear adjustment procedures, and that on the morning of her surgery, Hillary, who had no formal medical training, prepared her own IV bags and took a handful of pills, which included Valium, before the surgery began. Then it is said that when Hillary went into the operating room, that this Dr. Ben Brown gave Hillary additional anesthesia without verifying what Hillary had already taken. It says that Dr. Brown also failed to record what anesthetic medication and the dosages that he used during Hillary's procedure, which is absolutely unheard of if you think about it. I don't care if this is your wife or not or whatever. Like, he's just pumping her, allegedly, according to this, the way I'm reading it, my unprofessional opinion, with whatever he wants to. He's not documenting, okay, I done gave her this at this time, this at this time. He's just like beep, 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 pumping it in her. Then it reads, as her husband began the second procedure of liposuction on her arm, Hillary became relentless and her feet began twitching. Hillary herself apparently stated that her vision started to blur, and she told Dr. Brown that she saw orange. So this means not only was Hillary like seemingly awake during these procedures, but this document also says that Hillary was assisting in her own procedures, you guys, by suturing her skin back together. When I saw that, I thought, what kind of horror movie, Frankenstein type of surgery procedure was going on there? And she had to be so absolutely out of it. Whatever she had in her system, by suturing her own skin back together. What? At this point, though, apparently they decided to take a short break. After this break or whatever, allegedly, Dr. Ben Brown decided that he was going to start working on her lip injections, even though she had started showing signs of lidocaine toxicity. So she's already showing this, and he was like, time to do your lips. The document then states that Dr. Brown continued injecting lidocaine when Hillary Brown went into cardiac arrest and became unresponsive, and she began to have a seizure on the operating table. Allegedly, over the next 10 to 12 minutes, a medical assistant asked Dr. Brown if they should call 911, and Dr. Brown said no. Wait. So here she is after everything, after her suturing herself up, after her seemingly twitching, and we're taking a break. We're going to get back to the lips, but we're going to give her some more of this medicine that we're not writing down, not keep anything. And then she starts really going at it. She's having a seizure, and the person that's working with him is like, hey, doctor, hey, should we call 911? And he's like, no. Hey, we should probably call 911 now. She's not doing too good. And the doctor's like, wait. The medical assistant was allegedly scared, and she was a new employee, so she was just trying to do, even though it seemed like she knew she needed to do more, she's doing what the doctor is instructing. The document goes on to say that instead of calling for an immediate emergency care for his wife, Dr. Brown started shouting at his staff, demanding to know what medication she took. Then, approximately 10 to 20 minutes after Hillary had the seizure, Dr. Brown finally asked an assistant to call 911. During that 10 to 20 minutes, it is reported that staff was running all around, trying to find things like oxygen tanks, because there was no crash cart available. in the case of an emergency like this. There was not even no oxygen, you guys. Hillary was then, after they got there, she was taken to Ascension Sacred Heart Emergency Care Department in Pensacola, Florida, where she spent a week in a coma before she ended up passing away. Hillary's cause of death would later be determined to be complications following lidocaine toxicity, according to these documents. The board called Dr. Brown careless and haphazard and found that his blatant authorization of unlicensed activity indicated that he has poor judgment and can't be trusted to ensure that his patients receive appropriate care. And it went on to say that the level of disregard Dr. Brown paid to patient safety, even when the patient was his own wife, indicated that Dr. Brown is unwilling or incapable of providing the appropriate level of care to future patients. Then the board said that Dr. Brown's most problematic violation during Hillary's procedure was his failure to react swiftly in response to a serious medical emergency. Now, after this, the Florida Department of Health issued an emergency order to immediately restrict Dr. Brown's ability to practice medicine. On June 14th of this year, 2024, a judge finally signed a warrant charging Dr. Brown with second-degree homicide, which is manslaughter by culpable negligence. 3 days later, on June 17th, he ended up turning himself in and he immediately bonded out, okay? Now, after Dr. Brown's arrest, Hillary's family spoke out, and according to the Pensacola News Journal, Hillary's family said they believed Dr. Brown's ego and arrogance are what led to their daughter's death, and 3 small girls' mother gone. And those girls, they loved their mother, just gone like that. Hillary's father said, Ben Brown took the mother from my grandchildren, my only daughter, and our brightest star. Hillary gave the ultimate sacrifice so Ben Brown cannot hurt anyone else. Maybe in prison, he will get the attention he deserves. Hillary's father says that it is one of the worst things that he has ever experienced.
When we got to the ICU and walked in, it was the most horrifying thing I've ever seen in my life. That's my daughter laying there lifeless. Tubes, wires everywhere. Her eyes partially open, just in a glazed stare. And so, I asked, what happened? And his response was, I don't know. Well, I didn't come out right at first just because my daughter passed away, pointing fingers and thinking this guy's guilty. I gave him all the opportunity. For 7 days, I sit in a hospital room, watch my daughter die. I watch her brain swell. I watch her take her last breath. And we're sitting in the same room together. There was a lot of conversation there, a lot of opportunity to come clean and just say, I screwed up. I never got that. I hope she is his last patient. I want to add that. This is my daughter, Tanner. This is all I got to remember by.
And Hillary's family even accuses Dr. Ben Brown of seeing Hillary both professionally and personally. Her father has told the media that when Hillary was still on life support, it seemed like Dr. Brown was more concerned with money than he was with Hillary's life. Allegedly, Dr. Ben Brown's insurance was canceled on November 30th, and he sent Hillary's father a text to make sure that he was on board with the plan to send Hillary to hospice either before or after that date. Hillary's father said that he sent me a text that we need to make sure that her time of death is before November 30th because the insurance benefits go away and my grandkids wouldn't get some of the life insurance. But also, according to Hillary's father, he said that he was really appalled when he saw that soon after Hillary's passing, Dr. Ben Brown was already trying to sell her stuff on social media. It just seemed like he didn't care. Hillary's father has also said that he's hoping to get in touch with local legislators to see if they can get some sort of law passed that prevents surgeons from performing procedures on their own family members. He'd like to call it Hillary's Law. Dr. Brown is currently out of jail. Again, he bailed out. It was only a $50,000 bond, but if he's convicted, he could face some prison time. And it has been reported that Hillary's 3 daughters have gone to live with their father. since their mother's passing. So what do I think about this? At first, I did not really know what to think, but then with all the medication, when it come out, like allegedly all this extra medication, and mind you, again, there were other people that worked for him that was in the office that have given their statements. So he's probably going to have some people testify against him if he takes this to trial. And that ought to be really interesting. But when I was seeing these photos of these other people's procedures that they had done by him, horrendous. Now, don't get me wrong. Any procedure a person has at any time, it is a risk, whether it's cosmetic or whether it's necessary. People get infections with ear piercings. You know what I mean? Like, you can get an infection with just about anything, with anything. So it's not uncommon for there to be risks with every surgical procedure. But the stories from these ex-patients were really bad. I will leave a Facebook page linked down in the description box that has a lot of alleged ex-patients of his that have posted and shared their photos and their experiences. I don't know any of these people personally myself, but I have followed this page and been reading it, and I will leave it linked down in the description box if you want to check. But I'm warning you, some of those photos are pretty graphic. What is my opinion? My opinion is I definitely think he needs to be held accountable. I wish they would have gave him a substance like test or a drug test or something when she went into the hospital, because I just can't imagine. Was he taking something too? This is just my own random thought and theory, because how could you just keep shooting somebody allegedly up with all these medications? You're not writing anything down. You're in a tizzy. How do you know you gave them 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams? You gave the person this, like, that just seems on a different level of reckless to me. But again, like Hillary's father said, at the very least, the silver lining in this is, if he is, and I don't know him, this very irresponsible and dangerous plastic surgeon, having all these people come in and perform procedures when they're not trained, they don't, any of that. At the very silver lining in this is that he won't be doing this to anybody else. So have y'all heard about this? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye. Have a great weekend.